So here's my iPhone cord. A lot of these shred or they kind of split. And so here's me taping it up, trying to make it work. When they split, it's kind of hard to deal with because then they will kind of fray the actual wires. If it is split, this outside sheeting here, it'll still work, but it really weakens the cords inside. So here's me taping it up, but we are going to fix this. Yeah, very easy, very cheap. So we're going to get this tape off, this electrical tape and duct tape, and we'll get it fixed. So this is what happens with a lot of my iPhone cords. It just starts splitting and the sheeting kind of comes and it just keeps traveling down. And it really doesn't mess with the function other than the fact that you get these small wires that get exposed and then those will slowly back and forth. They'll get cracked and then you have an issue. But this has happened with a lot of my iPhone charging cords and essentially will be a problem. What we like to do essentially is we're going to coat this and we'll fix this for under $2. So what we'll use here is we've got some heat shrink. This is literally like $2 at Menards, and this is really the only expense that you'll have in this. Now we're going to use the 1/4. There's a 1/8 size, which you might think you want to use the 1/8 because that will fit over the cord. But if you think about it, you've got to feed it through. This has got to feed through it and run down here. So if you use the 1/8, you're going to have to stretch the 1/8 around the end here and then slide it down here, which is not going to be easy to do. So that's why we're going to get the larger, use the 1/4 and slip that down, and then we'll use the heat shrink on it. So.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to take this 1/4 inch shrink wrap and we're just going to feed it down here. And then that's why you'll see we'll want to use something bigger than the 1/8. Because if you get the 1/8, you're going to have a heck of a time stretching that around. So we're going to use this one. Now the 1/8 would fit good for the cord size. But like I said, you won't be able to fit the head through it. But once we fit it through, then we'll just shrink this. It's going to take a little more heat to shrink this much down to the right size. But we'll be able to use it. So we're going to go ahead and slide this on and just feed it. Try not to break any of your cords as you go. And I'm just holding it here and then bunching it up because you can't hold this cord and push. Just bunch it up and let it slide. So we got the one sleeve on. Took a little time, but it's not quite long enough. And you can use however many you need to make sure. But you do want to definitely overlap. You don't want it to end like exactly where the split ends. You want to definitely overlap that. So I think if we do another one, we'll be right on. Now I'm going to, for sure, I want to put it where it's overlapping on this, right up top here. Not here, definitely not here, because that's where it broke to begin with. We're going to put it on top of there. Now I'm going to take a look and make sure I didn't break any of the cords. Like I said, the problem is right here, when the original cord breaks loose, this braided portion here, it breaks loose here, then you get like this exposed, the red wires coming off, and then these will start to break. Then that's when your phone will not start charging. So I'm going to take this and slide this back over it. Looks good. And I'm going to put it right on top of here, maybe about halfway, because when we put the shrink wrap on, it's going to really snatch hold of this here. I'm going to take this one, and I want it to be, I don't want it to just butt up to it. I'm actually going to go inside of it so it can wrap on top of itself. Or when it shrinks, it'll kind of go together there. I'm going to overlap that a little. So I'm just going to pinch it like that. Slide it in there. If you can't tell exactly how far it's in there, just grab another one. And you can kind of see it's about 3/4 of an inch in there. I'm going to go just a little bit further. I'm going to try to get about 1 inch overhang. Or overlap, I guess. Now, it was quite a bit of work to get this fed all the way through, but I was just inching it, pushing it, holding this. I don't want to hold the cord because it's flimsy. Holding this and just pushing it, wrinkling it, pulling it, pushing. So it's a little bit of work. And as you can see, there's quite a bit of space here versus if you had the smaller one. Well, like we mentioned, we can't get the smaller one through because the head's so large. So now we've got this here, and it's heat shrink. So all we gotta do is heat this up. Now I've got a heat gun I'll show you, but you can use a hair dryer all the same. But with this being such a larger gap, it'll probably take you a little bit longer with a hair dryer because you can't get it as hot, and it's got to shrink down quite a bit versus the heat gun is going to heat it up quite a bit quicker. So here's my heat gun that I have. Just a real cheap, easy one. Like I said, if you've got it, great. If you don't, that's okay too, because you can use a hair dryer. So we're just going to heat this up and we can watch it kind of shrink. How it's really snatched a hold of the fitting. And we can see about 1 inch overlap there. And you can also see how tight it's wrapped around our cord. Once this cools, this will be really stiff. And you've got your fixed iPhone charging cord. That overlap there and how tight it is around here will prevent it from pulling off. Yeah. And there you go. You have a fixed, genuine iPhone charging cord for under $2. Super cheap, super easy. The only thing you need is a hair dryer, or you can go get yourself a heat gun, but it'll work all the same.